Okay, so we're going to get started now. Once again, this is Tom Brotherton with CalStart, and today's session is part 2 of Voices of Drive Clean Chicago. In today's webinar, we're going to hear from 2 panels, each of whom will present on a case study of a truck deployed in Chicago as part of the Drive Clean Truck program. In our first panel, we'll hear from Odyne, who provided a hybrid utility truck to ComEd. And in our second panel, we'll hear from Zenith, who provided an electric truck, electric shuttle bus for the Chicago Marriott O'Hare Hotel. To start things off, we're going to hear from Samantha Bingham with the Chicago Department of Transportation, who runs the program for the City of Chicago. So take it away, Sam.
Thanks, Tom, and hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Samantha Bingham, and as Tom mentioned, I'm the point of contact for the Drive Clean Chicago program here at the Chicago Department of Transportation, or AKA CDOT. Drive Clean Truck is an important program that helps us meet the goals of the city's sustainability roadmap, Sustainable Chicago. The complex part about Sustainable Chicago is the city cannot attain our sustainability goals through our actions alone. We need businesses and government leaders throughout the region who understand the importance of improving our local air quality, mitigating the impact of global climate change, and reducing our dependence on foreign oil to take action as well. We know that one of the barriers to adopting alternative fuel and hybrid vehicles can be their higher initial upfront and conversion costs. CDOT has determined that our role is to help reduce the upfront cost of these technologies, and that will help make an impact along with our Chicago Area Clean Cities Coalition on meeting our goals to reduce dependence on petroleum in the transportation sector and to help improve our local air quality. In addition, as well as our local Clean Cities Coalition, we serve as an unbiased educational and information resource for public and private fleets throughout the region. For more information on incentives in Illinois, upcoming events, joining the Chicago Area Clean Cities Coalition, and submitting the 2015 Annual Coalition Report, please go to chicagocleancities.org. Our next big event, where you'll have an opportunity to see many of the vehicles that participate in Drive Clean Truck, will be our Green Drives event on May 19th. More information on that event is on the Clean Cities website. If you need to contact me, you can reach out via email at samantha.bingham@cityofchicago.org. And finally, thank you all for tuning in this morning, and a huge thank you to our star panelists. And Tom, I'm going to turn it back over to you to get us started.
Great. Thank you very much, Sam. So in our first panel, we're going to hear from Matt Jarmuth, who's the Director of Sales of Odyne, and Les Fall, who's the Manager of Fleet Operations at ComEd. Matt has 15 years of experience with Odyne, working both in engineering and marketing, and he contributed to the current development of the utility plug-in hybrid system that you'll hear about today. Les is manager of ComEd's fleet operation with responsibility for planning, maintenance, and repair activities of the ComEd fleet. We will have time at the end of today's webinar for questions and answers, but right now I'll turn it over to Matt and Les for their presentation. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Sam. This is Matt Jarmuth from Odyne. I'm just going to give you everybody a quick overview of Odyne and talk about an application that we deployed that's available here with the Drive Clean Chicago program. So next slide, please. So who we are at Odyne, we're a plug-in hybrid manufacturer for trucks over 14,000 pounds. So we're talking about the larger vehicles here, the class 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. So the bigger vehicles that would be in your fleet. Odyne, we are partially owned by Allison Transmission, so we interface with that automatic transmission to provide a plug-in hybrid solution, and we're the exclusively approved provider of this PTO-based plug-in hybrid solution with that Allison Transmission. Next slide, please. So how the Odine plug-in hybrid system works is what you're seeing there, it's an Allison transmission with the Odine PTO electric motor solution off the side of the transmission. So how the system works is we interface that electric motor in parallel with the diesel engine. So while driving, the battery packs and electric motor work in parallel with the diesel engine to offset fuel and emissions while driving. So we improve the fuel economy of the vehicle while it's in motion. So as the vehicle is driven to a work site, that launch assist and also regenerative brake recharges that battery back up, allows the vehicle to operate more efficiently while driving to the work site. The nice benefit and the big benefit of the Odine solution is once you get to the work site, the vehicle goes full electric. So we have an EPTO switch that turns on the electric power takeoff, and at that point, the electric motor now powers all the equipment and the battery power all the equipment at the work site. So we can power a hydraulic pump to power cranes and bucket trucks and other applications. We offer export power of 6,000 watts or 12,000 watts for applications that need to plug in high loads at the work site for vehicle to load applications, when powering the accessories that are needed at the work site. And then we also air condition and heat the cab with the engine off as well to keep those creature comforts available inside the cab and allow the operator to, on a cold Chicago day, warm up here in the wintertime, or in the summertime, cool off with the air conditioning in the cab as well. So if the vehicle does, the batteries do deplete in the field, the engine starts up automatically, recharges the battery, so it's really a seamless operation for the crews. And when they get back to the garage at night, they plug it in overnight, recharge those batteries, and do it again. Next slide, please. So our solution, our manufacturing facility is just north of Chicago. We're out of the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, and the vehicle is manufactured by the OEM. We'll install the plug-in hybrid system onto the chassis, and then it'll be delivered to the final stage manufacturer of your choice. So depending on the application, if it's a bucket truck or a crane, or depending whoever you work with on your normal vehicles, we'll work with that manufacturer to help integrate the plug-in hybrid solution into your complete vehicle and give you a vehicle that matches the needs of the operators in the field. We interface with a handful of different chassis and engine manufacturers as well as final stage manufacturers. And next slide, please. A wide variety of different applications. And here it is, just a handful that we have done. The bucket trucks that you'll see, ComEd's fleet throughout the city of Chicago, and the digger derricks there to the right are two popular applications in ComEd's fleet. But we also do the walk-in vans for ComEd. So it's a plug-in hybrid walk-in van that works over the manholes in downtown Chicago. But also, compressor trucks that power a underdeck air compressor to run jackhammers and operate air tools. We've done tanker trucks in the field that deliver fuel and pump fuel, and then also cranes at bottom right hand. So all kinds of applications. But really the focus is vehicles that drive 10, 20, 30 miles a day, but spend 2, 3, 4 hours a day at the work site idling. And you can really see some pretty significant savings and emission reductions with those applications with the Odine plug-in hybrid solution. Next slide, please. Here's just one example of a bucket truck in ComEd's fleet. This is just showing the state of charge of the battery pack. So it starts off at 100%. That's that chart to the left there, going from 0 to 100. And then the time of day is just going from left to right. You can see they, maybe 7 a.m. they start up the vehicle. They'll drive to the work site. You'll see the vehicle work in EPTO mode or all electric mode at the work site as we deplete that battery. So throughout the course of the day, instead of using that engine to power the equipment at the work site, the battery packs, electric motor are taking over, reducing all that fuel consumed, all the emissions, and then when they drive back to the garage, they deplete the batteries fully, and that green line going back up is the plug-in charge, and the vehicle is recharging back up to 100% overnight. Next slide, please. So just a quick what that looks like in the real world. That's just showing that application, but you can see there the conventional gallons. If that was a diesel truck that was deployed, it would have consumed just over 14 gallons of diesel fuel. With the Odyne PAGD system, it's less than 5 gallons, so almost 10 gallons of fuel savings and 8 hours of idle time avoided with that 1 day of application. Next slide, please. So as you can imagine, with those the large fuel savings, the emission reductions, the operators, better performance with the quiet worksite operation. You don't have that truck running all day. You get a little better performance while driving with that launch assist and region braking, a little better power. So the operators have a truck that they provides a better work environment for them, but it also provides the fleets a payback. And with the Drive Clean Chicago program, the fleet purchasers would purchase the vehicle as normal from their manufacturer of choice. And then the incremental cost is approximately $80,000 for the Odyne plug-in hybrid system with all the accessories, with the air conditioning, the heat, and the export power. But the voucher pays Odyne directly the $64,000 of that $80,000. So that means the fleet only has to pay either Odyne directly or the truck supplier that $16,000 for the plug-in hybrid system. With those fuel savings, that allows you to have a payback of around 3 years. And allow you for the rest of the life of that vehicle, years 4 through 10 or 12, however long you keep that vehicle in your fleet, to see a positive return on that initial investment of $16,000. The great thing about this program is, Odyne will work you through the paperwork and submit all the information for you. And the voucher, the program pays Odyne directly. So there's no reimbursement, there's no credit, it's not anything comes back. It's a direct payment by the voucher program. And the only out-of-pocket expense is that $16,000 for the plug-in hybrid system. Next slide, please. So there's my contact information. We'd be happy to talk to anybody about the best opportunity in Chicago and how to work through that program. There's my email and phone number, but be happy to answer any questions at the end of the session as well. Thank you.
Okay, Les, it's over to you.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and go to our next slide, thanks everybody for joining. Hopefully this will be a little bit of information that all of you can use as you are thinking of going into maybe this arena. So those that are not familiar with ComEd, I just wanted to have a quick overview. We are the electric utility company here in Illinois. We are a subsidiary of the Exelon Corporation. ComEd covers the northern third of Illinois territory, which is about 11,000 square miles, which is about 70% of the population of Illinois. So even though we only have a third of the territory, we have more than 2/3 of the population. Within our ComEd fleet, we run approximately 4,700 units, and of that, 3,600 are primarily on-the-road vehicles. And our current on-the-road fleet, we've got about 8% is electric technology. Next slide, please. So I want to tell you a little bit about how we got where we are with our current vendors and some of the steps that we took to get there. So in the late 1990s, early 2000s, ComEd has always been very green-minded. I guess maybe we were green before green was cool. So we've been running a lot of different liquid or gaseous fuels, alternative fuels. We've probably one of the biggest biodiesel users I know in the state of Illinois. At one time we were fifth, only behind some of the more bigger government contracts like the United States Navy. So that has been where we started with our entire Green Fleet initiative. So in 2005, being an electric company, we just started the natural investigation into hybrids and plug-in hybrids with the standard offerings from the manufacturers like the Hybrid Escape. We also got involved with HTUF / CalStart with their utility truck program, and we were one of the first 12 or so participants in that study that kind of kicked off the hybrid evolution in the large vehicles. We also did some investigating on our own. We bought 50 Priuses. We also had 10 of those converted into plug-in hybrids so that we can do some studies on our own system and what the net effects would be on our grid. So next slide. So how did we get there? It's a little bit about evaluating the data. We started this mid-2000s with the Eaton hybrid bucket trucks, and I'll go into the heavy duty now and pretty much stick there. You got to kind of understand what your duty cycles are within what you're trying to accomplish. There wasn't a lot to choose from back in the mid-2000s. The Eaton was the only game in town, and we cut our teeth on that platform, but found that the system was primarily designed for the drive cycle to be on the road. And while we were getting savings, we weren't getting the expected savings that everybody was kind of touting. We were only getting about maybe a 30% at best, which is not bad, but still overall, some of the estimates were much higher than that. So we kind of dropped back and started analyzing our drive cycles, what the off time was, the idle time, also bringing in the criticality of the unit. So we can go to the next slide. To do that, you've got to find a analysis model that works well for you. We actually are using the one from Edison Electric Institute, and what it does is it provides different inputs that we can add in there based on usage, engine hours, on time, off time, and at the end of the day we can analyze to see if we've got a good return on investment. Like Matt stated earlier, with their system, they're looking at an initial payback on the analysis that they did of approximately 3 years. We can go to the next slide. All right, so it's all about options. What option is right for you? Match your technology to the task. We're looking for quieter operation. Don't need to fill up as often. That's been a feedback from our drivers. Ease of use is a special consideration for the drivers. If you don't get their buy-in and their adoption of the technologies that you're introducing, you will ultimately fail because nobody's going to want to use the units that you're providing to them. Some of the issues that we've had, it's new technology. It's hard for the end users, our operators, to get used to sometimes the quietness of it. They're used to having an engine running all the time, but after they get used to it, they do miss it when they have to transfer back. So let's go ahead and go to our next slide. It's all about keeping up with the technology. So with that, looking for the opportunities, you can see one of our underground splicer vans on the top right. This is the one that we've teamed with Odyne. Interesting story here. We tried building this unit back in about 2009. The technology wasn't there. This came out of one of our studies where we were looking at our drive times, our duty cycles on the unit, and this one really stood out. This unit will typically drive into a downtown area, and like Matt said, they spend all night sitting over the top of a manhole, repairing cables, doing splices down in a vault. This unit really does well for us. Instead of having, even though we had generators on these, you still need some way to heat and cool the cab area for the safety of the crew. But with the exportable power and the electric capability of this unit at the job site, we are really seeing a huge benefit from this unit not having a large engine idling there. And also with the new emission systems, we've seen a reduction in the amount of regens and exhaust problems that a lot of companies are seeing that don't have over-the-road vehicles. On the left-hand side, this is a little bit about, I don't want this to be like the Odine show. We are always looking at different opportunities, and one that I kind of talked about, the criticality. You might ask, why doesn't ComEd run an all-electric vehicle? It's another thing that came about out of our studies. We run, especially during storms, 24 hours a day. Oftentimes our crew's 16 hours on, 8 hours off, and we don't have time to stop and charge a vehicle. So we're looking for technologies that offer us that, call it the extended range, and the units on the left are some of our smaller units from VIA. They work similar to a Volts platform, where it's an electric vehicle that has an extended range engine, and we're doing some studies on those to see where those are going to fit into our vehicle mix. So next slide. So to tie it all together with the Clean Drive Chicago is, look for your partnerships. Early on, we started with Clean City Chicago. They helped us, I guess, bridge some or make some partnerships with a lot of different organizations out there that could help us either analyze, pick their brain as to what they've been through, what they've seen. Also, they've been instrumental in helping us find things like this Clean Drive Chicago, which is the voucher program. Prior to that, there were a number of grants that we've taken advantage of. I've got to say that through everything that we've done through Illinois Green Fleet, there are very few units that we have ever paid full price for the incremental upfit. Next slide. And that goes into our conclusions. Do your homework. Talk to others that have been through this. Understand what you're trying to accomplish and how the technology is going to integrate with your drive cycles on your vehicles. Look at emerging technologies that may fit what you're trying to do. Initially, you might not hit the sweet spot, but things are changing constantly. And reason why I talked about the Clean Drive Chicago, at the end of the day, we're all still running a business. Use a good ROI model and look for opportunities to offset your incremental costs so that your payback makes it very attractive to your organization. I think that should be my last slide.
All right, thank you very much, Les. As I mentioned earlier, we will have time at the end of the webinar for questions for Matt or Les. Right now, we're going to move to our second and final panel of the session. In this panel, we will look at an all-electric vehicle case study. We'll have Christine Smith, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Zenith Motors, followed by Maz Ismail, General Manager of the Chicago Marriott O'Hare. Christine, take it away. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom, for that great interview, or great introduction. As he said, my name is Christine Smith, and I'm with Zenith Motors. I have with me today Maz Ismail from the Chicago O'Hare Marriott Hotel to give you some insights on Zenith Motors and working with the Chicago Drive Clean program. I thought I'd start with a quick overview of Zenith Motors, if you mind moving to the next slide. And from there, talk about the technologies that Zenith offers, our product line, and the benefits and applications for our products, and then do a quick review of what fleet managers and fleet purchasers should look for when looking at alternative fuel vehicles, and then talking about the cost savings that the Drive Clean Chicago voucher program provides. And then I'll hand it over to Maz to talk about Marriott's perspective on Zenith Motors and the Drive Clean Chicago program. Next slide, please. Zenith Motors was established in 2011 with the sole focus of helping organizations reduce their fleet costs and carbon footprints by providing electric shuttles and cargo vans that eliminated the need for gasoline. Next slide. Two of our product line that qualify for the Drive Clean Chicago program is our 100% electric shuttle vans and our 100% cargo vans. Next slide. Both of the cargo vans and the shuttle vans have standard features such as an 80-mile range. They're electronically limited at 55 miles per hour. They utilize the lithium iron phosphate 4 batteries. We offer with the vehicles a regenerative braking package. Comes standard with a 6.5-hour charger that utilizes the J1772 connectors. Our vehicles come with a wireless maintenance package as well as a battery heater that maintains the battery state of charge in colder temperatures while the vehicle is charging. Next slide. Our Zenith cargo van you have two options. You have the 406 or 530 cubic square feet of interior cargo space and has a payload capacity of 3,800 pounds. Next slide. Our Zenith electric shuttle comes standard with an electric door and step. It has a spacious interior that seats up to 16 passengers comfortably, that has an interior height of 74 inches. We offer 4 seating configurations with and without a luggage rack. We have our interior colors gray with a black Eco bus grade flooring. And in charging mode, the passenger cabin temperature is at a consistent 70 degrees in colder climates. Next slide. Zenith offers several upgrades with our cargo and shuttle vans. You can extend the battery pack from 80 miles up to 100 miles. You can decrease the charge time from 6.5 hours to 4 hours by increasing to a 12 kilowatt onboard charger. We also offer a backup camera on our cargo and shuttle vans. And for our shuttle vans, we have some additional features such as a secondary rear heater, secondary rear air conditioner, and we do offer the option for a wheelchair lift. Next slide. As everyone knows, one of the biggest benefits to electric vehicles is the elimination of fuel costs. But some of our clients have pointed out to us there's some additional benefits with that. Is they no longer have to pay employees once a day or multiple times a day to drive the vehicle off-site to fuel the vehicle. With the Zenith electric vehicles, they can be charged on-site. So now they've eliminated the cost of having to pay an employee to drive the vehicle off-site. Next slide. The biggest benefit our customers have come back to us is the savings from the maintenance. Our vehicles no longer require, replacement of brake pads and rotors. There's no oil changes, no belts, spark plugs, or fuel injectors. And if you were utilizing a diesel vehicle initially, now you have additional savings because you don't have to replace glow plugs. You don't have to do diesel exhaust fluid refilling or replace of turbo hose replacement. So you have additional savings there as well. Next slide. Some of the markets that we currently serve that have been ideal for the Zenith electric cargo vans and shuttle vans is, of course, the hospitality industry, which Maz will talk more on shortly. We do have a hold in the off-site airport parking market. We do provide cargo vans for delivery companies. And we work with a lot of local government and municipalities by providing them with cargo and shuttle vans. In 2015, December, we were awarded a GSA schedule, which will allow us to work with the federal government in 2016. Next slide. So if you're in one of those markets, or maybe you're not in one of those markets but want to evaluate if an electric vehicle would work with your organization, a couple things, factors you may want to consider is evaluating your routes, looking at the length of your routes. Are your routes standardized? Do you have a lot of stopping and starting that would take a benefit of the regenerative braking? Do you have a home base for overnight charging? Do your vehicles have long idle times? Evaluating your driving schedule. Is there opportunity throughout the day to charge? Also, engaging your drivers and service technicians and talking to them about the ease of operations of electric vehicles. And of course, I'm sure your organizations are all looking for opportunities to save money. And this also can come into with reducing fines due to idling and noise ordinance. We've had several clients talk to us about the savings opportunities for that as well. And can your company capitalize on green? So these are all some of the factors that organizations should look at when considering Zenith electric vehicles or electric vehicles in general. The next slide. So now that you've evaluated the factors and you've come to the conclusion that an electric vehicle would be a perfect fit for your application, looking at some opportunities to reduce your capital investment is important, and Drive Clean Chicago offers several of those. For an electric shuttle van, you can reduce your capital investment by $57,000. Now, if you're looking at the cargo vans, you have the opportunity to reduce your capital outlay from $49,000 up to $53,000. Now, all of our vehicles also qualify for the $7,500 federal tax incentive. So these are just some of the programs that can help you reduce your capital investment. And these programs have allowed our customers to realize a payback on their investment much sooner. And one of these customers that has been able to take advantage of the voucher program and reduce their capital outlay is Maz Ishmael from the Chicago Marriott. So he was able to reduce his capital investment purchase when he purchased 2 shuttles from Zenith Motors. So I'll hand it over to Maz.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Chris. We go over how we actually incorporate into the hotel world. So if you could go to the next slide, please. Okay. An interest in this vehicle because we had actually heard of a couple other hotels that were using a similar vehicle. Marriott has a program called the Spirit to Preserve, which encourages each hotel to reduce our carbon footprint. And we've done a lot of things inside the hotel, and we looked at how we can extend this to outside the 4 walls of the hotel. And alternative fuel vehicles allowed us to use this program outside of just the walls of the hotel. Next slide, please. Okay. Voucher program really benefited our decision. It almost made it a cost-neutral purchase. It gave us the ability to purchase these vehicles without having to lay out a ton of capital up front. That made it really cost-neutral for the hotel. We actually looked at program, and it was very easy to apply for the vouchers, and it really helped us make a decision. Next slide, please. Okay, this actually is our fleet, and it represents about 1/3 of our vehicles that we use. We are a hotel that's near the airport, but we provide shuttle service 24 hours a day, so these vehicles are constantly on the road. If you really look at it, the fuel savings is about $3,000 a month, and maintenance cost is approximately $4,000. So we're saving about $7,000 a month since we acquired these vehicles just on those 2 areas. Okay. Now, you know, a concern of ours was how were the drivers going to really feel about driving these electric vehicles, you know? A little different driving an all-electric as opposed to a gas-powered vehicle, traditional vehicle. They were pretty reluctant at first, but as they started driving them, they actually became more and more comfortable with it and actually now enjoy it. And you can see they're pretty easy to charge, as you can see on this slide. Next slide, please. You know, we are actually considering purchasing 2 more vehicles. I know that Christine and Zenith, as a team, are looking to see if there are any potential to design a larger vehicle. Currently, these vehicles transport 12 people. We would like to see if they could come up with something that can transport 24 or 26 people that will help us with a lot of the large runs that we do in peak time. We're hoping that they can come up with that and give us some more options, but we would definitely be interested in acquiring more vehicles. You know, and quite honestly, I don't see why more and more hotels really would not move to this technology. It's a very cost-efficient vehicle to run, cost neutral with the voucher program thanks to the city. It really is a way to promote clean air and reduce carbon emission and noise pollution, which is a big thing for us in our industry. You know, it really is this program that Marriott has, Spirit to Preserve, really challenges each hotel to think outside and how we can continue to work on the program. Next slide, please. Okay, there's my contact information, Christine.
All right, Maz, thank you very much. So we're now at the end of the 2 panel sessions, and we do have some time left for questions and answers. So if, Alicia, if you want to unmute people, we can have folks ask questions.
Looks like we have one for Ms. Maisie. Does Marriott O'Hare also have EV charging stations available for guests to use? So perhaps guests that are coming to the hotel, could they charge their electric vehicle at the hotel?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I was going to type it in if you couldn't hear me. We do not provide that service, but it is something that we are looking at for this year.
All right, great. So if anyone else has questions, feel free to either ask them or type them in.
So we have a question, is the Drive Clean Chicago program fully funded for 2016?
I'll answer that in Sam's stead, which is we do have plenty of funding left. There's actually about $6 million of funding left in the truck program, and I know that Sam has additional funding to follow to add into the program once we've gone through that initial 6. So the answer to that is yes, there is plenty of funding left for 2016 for the program. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. Give everybody just a few more minutes if you've got a question. Okay, so I think that is a wrap. I want to thank our panelists again for participating. I found it to be a great discussion. And if any of the attendees have any follow-on questions, please feel free to call us or email us with any questions, and we'd be happy to help answer anything that may come up. So once again, thank you all very much for participating in today's webinar, and we hope to work with you in the future. Thank you.